Balanced Essentials is an Australian aromatherapy company devoted to health and well-being, using the highest quality therapeutic essential oils in its all-natural product range. Each oil is subjected to quality control procedures to ensure scientific evidence of its properties. This unique collection, superbly presented, describe the effect on the mind and relate to an energy center of the body. Beautiful blends that will uplift, calm, focus your awareness are vital for your skin and will inspire you. The inclusion of crystals to promote and amplify the properties of the products support results that offer a profound and beneficial approach to health and well-being. Take a deep breath. Now sit back and relax. Open Shop invites you to awaken your senses with Balanced Essentials.
Hello and welcome. You're watching UTV with me, Nikki V, and I already feel quite zen just coming out of that beautiful opener there. But I want to ask you at home how you're feeling. Have you been suffering with some niggles or some aches and pains and you're thinking, Western ways are just not cutting it for me, then you need to stay with me for the next hour because we have a guest. I call her just an absolute Australian icon that brings us a range called Balanced Essentials. Now, our guest has been around for nearly 30 years with this product and has changed the lives of literally tens of thousands of Australians. And when you think about pain, pain can be very, very debilitating. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be a normal state of life. Now, with the product that she's bringing to us today, we've got two heroes from the range. One is called Be Relieved, which is there for relief, should I say, of pain, and the other one is called Be Sport, stimulating the relief of pain. Now, don't be put off by the Be Sport title because this is going to go into things that we're looking at like muscular aches and pains and circulation. So if you suffer with any of those, you might want to hang on, and it's all about essential oils. Now, before we meet our guest, I want you to ponder on something. I'm going to show you a little video about where I believe we are at the moment in the state of the world and how going back to nature and natural elements can really, really assist us in our lives. Trust me, this product, we aired it first. We had the first show on UTV. It went absolutely nuts. It struck a chord with all of you at home. You understood it, and that made my heart sing. But before we meet Cheryl, don't go anywhere, and we'll see you the other side of this. I think in this world that is, as I said earlier, so frantic and people are searching for answers and it feels like there is chaos out there. Even if we hide ourselves in our room, we're bombarded with images, we're bombarded with fear, we're bombarded with social media, other people's fear. You know, we've been through devastating times, we've been through drought, bushfire, flooding, and now the current, panic on all the madness that's out there at the moment. We tune into this collective consciousness of anxiety. I think in this world that is, as I said earlier, so frantic and people are searching for answers and people are starting to slow down, maybe we should go back to nature and think back a few thousand years and think they weren't so wrong at all. It wasn't nearly a sellout for no reason. We've got Be Sport, Be Relieved. This is going to be your new duo. And I have with me the gorgeous founder, Cheryl Gilbert. Now, Cheryl, I've known for almost 15 years. Welcome back. And what a journey.
Oh, amazing journey over all those years.
But congratulations on your UTV journey. Share with us at home some of the reaction that you've had.
Oh, it's been absolutely overwhelming. We have had so many people ring through, and usually I answer the phone. You know, once the staff have left for the day, I'm on the phone. And it's just been an absolute joy to talk to people and hear their stories. But one of the things about it is that they can ring at any time. So I've had calls, even a missed call at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just been fantastic in that way.
Cheryl, you have changed literally the lives of thousands of Australians in the time that I've known you through the product Be Relieved, which is the hero from the range. I mean, it's brought such relief from pain in Australians. Did you think that 30 years ago you would have such a huge success with a product?
No, but I had gotten into aromatherapy and I knew what essential oils could do. But when I came up with the blend, I wanted one product that would actually do everything, because back in those days, many, many years ago, we had up to 40 oils that were in a set, and you had to choose and work out how many drops for different conditions. And I thought, well, if you're not well, if you're not feeling well at all and you're elderly, or or in some way you can't manage it, it makes it very difficult. You've got to think too much. So I wanted one bottle that would actually do everything. Well, and that's how Be Relieved came about.
You've certainly achieved that. Now, Australians know and love you for the amazing brand Balance Essentials, but if you're new to UTV, welcome you to the family. If you've never met Cheryl before, you have a beautifully colourful background, because you've been in allopathic medicine, you pathology, paramedic, nurse. I mean, tell us about this. My first job was actually starting off with the Bank of New South Wales. So I learnt quite a bit about a few skills there. I've done secretarial work. I've been a trainee nurse. I've been a pathology paramedic. I ran the Northwest Territory of Sydney in New South Wales, and then I went from there and I actually opened my own shop in Beecroft in Sydney. And that's when I started to sell other people's aromatherapy, which was really quite amazing. I learnt so much, did so many courses in it. And then it stemmed from there, and I started to make my own. I wanted to have something that worked in so many different ways for people, and that's how they came about. These are premium grade essential oils, aren't they? Grade 1.
The highest quality essential oil. They're therapeutic essential oils.
Now, you can join us at aroma.com.au, 1-800-836-826. What you are getting is a Be Sport and a Be Relieved, and you need both of them, and we'll differentiate between the two in a moment. That would normally be $139. It's down to $119, but I urge you to uptake the Be Calm as well for $49.50, down from $79.50. And I've got a great story about my little girl, Mildred, my spoodle, later in the Spoodle Fanciers Club, who are all onto the Be Calm now. Okay, so Cheryl, you've had this wonderful background, very colourful background, a little bit of medicine here and there, and then you created this range. Before you know it, you found yourself with these two products on a current affair. Tell us about that.
I was very fortunate enough to go on a current affair, but we wanted to show how it worked with thermal imaging, because I had done a little bit of television work, and it was very hard to explain how it smelled, how it worked. And really, the thermal imaging became the best way to visually show people how it actually worked and how quickly it worked. Mm-hmm. And so I had a current affair came, and we had people come up to have the thermal imaging done. We were in Chatswood at the time, and they had to get them off the street. Anyone in pain, come upstairs. And we managed to take some shots and go from there. And
what are we seeing here? This is the thermal imaging of the feet, but a particular condition.
An arthritic feet, which I think a lot of people can probably relate to over time.
Gosh, yes.
And you can see on the left that particular feet, there's a lot of inflammation. The most inflammation are the white areas, followed by the red and then the orange, etc. Now, that's only within 3 to 5 minutes.
Wow.
That change in the feet. By not even massage, it was only a very light application of the oils. Had you massage, you'd probably even have a better result. But no, that was quite remarkable.
Then we've got the neck, I believe, the before and after of the neck coming up. Now, so many people suffer here, whether you're driving all day long, you're a truck driver, you've got a desk job, or you're breastfeeding your baby, you're a TV director slogging away in the control room, all day long in the darkness, bent over. You're going to see these spots. You can almost feel it looking at that picture, can't you?
You can, and you can imagine just how sore that particular person was feeling, and how much inflammation they actually had in the neck and shoulder region. And to look on the right, within 3 to 5 minutes again of application, no massage, it's quite incredible, and very lucky to actually be able to show it to people and have them understand that it really does work.
Now, this one that we're seeing here is actually, I think you were saying before, IBS, isn't it? It's a bowel that is really, really inflamed, and we can see that white spot on the left. And so you applied the Be Relieved to the belly.
To the abdomen, to the stomach area. And within, again, 3 to 5 minutes, you can see the change. The white hot, incredibly painful area has disappeared. Now, you can actually see with the red and the orange areas, it's actually increased in size. And that's because the bowel is out of spasm.
Right.
And it's allowed it to relax. And it's quite amazing for that person to know within that short period of time they've got that relief.
And this was all to prove to a current affair. We're backing it up here, basically, with science. And this is the back with Be Sport, which is also in your pack.
Yes.
After 5 minutes. Now, can you see the white bits on your screen? Imagine those being so throbbing and burning, because that's what it is, isn't it? Sort of like the top of the lower back, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm feeling that right now, how that must, that as an empath, I'm really leaning into that painful. Yes. And, how do you get rid of that? How do you, or not get rid of it, how do you assist it?
Yes. Well, there's a lot of people that have had prolapse discs, and they can relate to the pain that comes. And you can also see too that the rest of your body is implicated. You're going to have other muscles that you're compensating with. And by applying the Be Sport, which is the stimulating pain relief, it's quite remarkable again within the 5 minutes how the back turned out and how much the pain was relieved. So
this was all to basically satisfy a current affair who ended up calling these two hero lines miracle oils.
Yes, it was quite an incredible day. It took a long time to go through and get people to be there. But at the end, they tried, of course, to debunk it with the doctor they had on just about every show.
And I've got a pain map here. I mean, if you're at home watching this now, do you ever feel like everyday aches, muscle soreness or joint stiffness are slowing you down? It could be a workout, it could be a long day at work, or just the daily grind. It's those lingering discomforts, Cheryl, that take a toll on your energy, your psyche and your well-being.
Well, it does. And then you end up with so many other problems in your life, mainly because of the way we think. If we're happy, if we're out of pain, we lead very different lives. But when you're in pain all the time, you go through so many different things, and you can feel listless, you can feel depressed. A lot of fear actually comes in, because I know with people in pain, they wonder, will it get worse? How much further is it going to go? And once you can alleviate that, and both of these products have anti-anxiety essential oils in there, once you release that anxiety and you can relax, you will actually find that you're going to get better quicker.
I absolutely agree with that as somebody who has chronic pain. Now, I want to say for those people who are thinking, well, it could be hocus pocus, we're all entitled to our beliefs and our thoughts, but just ponder this for a moment. Both of these products, the Be Sport and the Be Relieved, they have been, what's the word?
Listed
by that government organisation that we're not allowed to name, that basically tells you off if you say the wrong thing and you can't make claims. Both of them have been listed as therapeutic with that government body.
Yes.
And just the things, and obviously the listing is relating to the oils, not necessarily the blend, but the oils that are in the blend that specifically target or traditionally used in aromatherapy to enhance and promote certain things. And it goes on and on and on. And I have in my hand, I forgot completely about the one for the Be Relieved that we used last time. I'm just looking at this one for the Be Sport and it's out of control. Like, it just goes on for pages and pages and pages. So that should give you confidence that you have got a product that really does work. Now, I want to just go back to the Be Relieved for those who have not seen the product before and talk about what does it work on and how it works.
It works by being absorbed through the skin and into the body, and you'll find very quickly it's gone into the muscle areas, and because it's analgesic and anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic, antimicrobial, you will find that it works in the way that benefits the body the most. And I think people are quite surprised that by applying an oil or a product that contains carrier oils that are sweet almond, macadamia and wheat germ, it's moisturising the skin. As well as moisturising the skin, it's going in and delivering the therapeutic qualities of those essential oils. Now, there are 13 in Be Relieved, so it's a very complex blend. And that's why we were able to go through with a listing and show that it worked in so many different ways.
Well, I have a story to share with you, if I may, about the Be Relieved. I was in bed the other night and I get particularly bad spasms, and I don't know if you've ever had it at home where you are so clawed up in your feet and your legs, you feel that if you were able to spasm yourself, you would actually snap something, and the pain was just through the roof, and I couldn't breathe. So I managed to grab my Be Relief, which is always by my bedside, will not be without it, and I was just about managed, because my hands had started to go into spasm as well, rub it into the feet, rub it into the leg, and I just lay there, and it was almost like I had a sense of panic, because I thought, just the way it makes you feel, it takes you by, surprise. And I literally just lay there, and a hand on my heart, within 3 to 5 minutes, it's almost like it had just melted away. And it was one of those where I just lay there. I didn't want to move all night in case it came back, but it was the only thing that got rid of it. So thank you for that, because it really is, it's in my first response kit. It truly is.
Yeah. Well, it has so many properties, and it works in so many different ways. So it's really become like a first aid in a bottle, because you've got so much cuts, scratches, minor burns, arthritis, shingles,
and we're
muscular
to say
aches
that
and
because
pains.
it's been listed as being therapeutic for all those things.
There are so many different things that are listed. It's a page and a half of listings. So,
okay, I've got so many. Can I tell you Cheryl's reviews? One day she came into the studio 15 years ago, and I think you must have had about 12 of those lever arch full of reviews, like thousands of reviews. It's hard to pick just one, but I will. There's a lady here. Oh gosh, they're all so long because everybody's so happy. Okay, your products are amazing. I have pain in my hips that can wake me up at night. Both Be Relieved and Be Sport work so well in relieving this pain that I don't need to take a pain medication. I'm loving the Sport oil. I recently had an operation on my ankle, and hips are all out due to the cast. The Sport oil removes the pain immediately. It's amazing. Obviously, all results vary. But you've got that 30-day money-back guarantee. You also have that free delivery. Cheryl also allows you to pay in instalments. So go to aroma.com.au or call 1-800-836-826. Cheryl's been answering the phone, goodness me, and it just literally struck a chord with Australia, didn't it?
Oh, it's been absolutely amazing, overwhelming, amazing. The post office, every time they see me coming now with a car full of deliveries, and many times throughout the day, it's just been quite incredible.
So the research using the thermal imaging has validated your product claims that pain and inflammation was significantly reduced after just 3 to 5 minutes of application. Be Relieve, just to distinguish between the two, and Be Sport. So there are 16 oils across the range and 6 of them are used in both.
Yes.
So Be Relieve is for the relief.
Be Relieved is really the calming pain relief. And because it's calming, it's very good at going on the skin for cuts and scratches and minor burns. Be Sport, being a much more stimulating blend, is really for areas where you have peripheral circulation problems. You might have your feet, you might have neuropathy. It goes extremely well on shoulders, so if anyone's having any problems with their shoulders, their lower back, Be Sport is a little bit better at getting in there, and because it contains arnica, that arnica too is good for bruising. Now, Be Relieved is good for bruising too, but Be Sport is a little bit better at it.
Okay, and we'll have a look at Be Sport, and that's what actually my son, he's the soccer player in Spain. The thing is, about 10 years ago, he was off playing in Milan. He moved over there and his team were... Be Sport didn't last long, let's put it that way, in their dressing room, because it was used for recovery. Now, don't go anywhere. We're going to be back to chat chronic pain, so you might want to hang by, and also what goes into Be Sport, and we'll be back the other side of this. I think in this world that is, as I said earlier, so frantic and people are searching for answers, and it feels like there is chaos out there. Even if we hide ourselves in our room, we're bombarded with images, we're bombarded with fear, we're bombarded with social media, other people's fear. You know, we've been through devastating times, we've been through drought, bushfire, flooding, and now the current, panic on all the madness that's out there at the moment. We tune into this collective consciousness of anxiety. I think in this world that is, as I said earlier, so frantic and people are searching for answers and people are starting to slow down, maybe we should go back to nature and think back a few thousand years and think they weren't so wrong at all. It's food for thought, isn't it? Have you ever thought that life is just getting away from you and we need to get back to the basics and nature? And I always say the same thing, that I think it was Hippocrates said, the very plants that could save us grow on our grave. And that was like 5,000 years ago. I want to talk about chronic pain. It's something that affects millions of Australians, and it doesn't have to be that way. I think we get to a point, and I've been there, we've talked about the fear around it, but we also get to a point where we think that's the best it's going to be. You may have gone, like I have, and had 6 or 7 steroid injections in a year and been subjected to this, that and the other, and still you've got the pain and still you've got those inflammations, and you think, well, this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life. It doesn't need to be that way. You can start looking outside the box, and I think this is where Be Relieved comes in. Yes. And Be Sport. Now, chronic pain, I mean, let's think about the things it leads to. Reduced mobility, yes. Muscle tension. It's about quality of life, isn't it?
It's very much about quality of life and about ending up with anxiety, with depression. It changes everything in your life. If you're spending a lot of time in bed, if you're not active, you're not going to be fit enough to really do the things that you want to do. And it changes everything. But if you've got something that's natural, that doesn't do the damage that a lot of the other existing medications have done in the past, it's well worth trying a natural approach first. Mm-hmm. You've always got the others that you can go to, and eventually the opioids. But we now know that there are better ways. We now know that medicine is changing. And we're changing back into very natural ways, into ways that work with the body, that harmonise, that balance. and make our lives so much better, because with one particular bottle here, either the Be Relieved or the Be Sport, it changes you in many ways. It doesn't just work on the inflammation, it doesn't just work on the antispasmodic effects of it. It actually works on the anxiety as well, on the emotions. You're going to be feeling better, you're going to be feeling happier. And then you may be surprised if say, you have problems with your bowel, or if you've had polyps or anything like that. You'd be quite surprised that you can actually apply it to the stomach area, and then you find within a few minutes that sharp niggling pain is actually gone.
And it's interesting because we associate that kind of level of efficacy with things like opioids. Like I've done the opioids in the past year after, with my injections. And what does it give? What did it give me? Constipation. Yes. A fuzzy head, nausea, all of those side effects for what? A little bit of pain relief. And yet when I put the Be Relieved on the other night when I was in that spasm, I'm like, wow, this is powerful. Yeah. This is nature's power in 3 to 5 minutes. And I think you said your husband had exactly the same experience.
Yeah, with the same cramping, the problems with cramping, and by applying it, he was able to go back to sleep. But it happens with so many people, and and they're not getting the quality of sleep, and then they're going to bed at night thinking, will I wake up during the night? Yeah. Will I have problems with pain? And I go to bed and I always have Be Relieved, Be Sport, and Be Calm right beside the bed, and it still amazes me after all the years that I've been in this business and dealing with aromatherapy, the power. The sometimes subtle, sometimes very strong. It just depends. I think that one of the things about the oils in both products are they contain adaptogenic oils. Now that's in plants, in some plants and herbs. And what that allows it to do is to work on the best way for you. So you may find that you think the Be Sport is stimulating, but in some cases you'll actually find that it will be a more calming effect. And so it will change to what your body needs.
That's interesting. That's probably why I find coffee calming.
Yes.
I can have a coffee and fall asleep. It doesn't stimulate. Is that adaptogenic?
And two, it's also the way the brain works, because I do find about this is my experience, about 1 in 10 people have an opposite effect. So they might be people that can drink so much coffee at night and they go sound asleep. They relax, they calm, they go to sleep. But other people will be up all night with just one cup of coffee. Well, it's very much you can have an opposite reaction. And that's why I've put the 2 in the pack, for people to find which one works the best for them. And you can use both. I know when I had a prolapse disc, and I think I've mentioned this before, I was silly enough to try and lift a heavy rock onto a bulldozer on the property. And I had 2 prolapse discs, and it was absolutely incredibly painful.
Excruciatingly.
I was told if I had have moved the wrong way, I would have been paralysed. But instantly I grabbed for the oils and I put both on, one after the other, and every half an hour really for that first day, because I was in so much pain.
It's an absolute powerhouse. We're going to wrap up Be Relieved and start talking about Be Sport, but just to reiterate, if you've just tuned in, Be Relieved is one part of this pack, and we've got thermal imaging to basically, it's science giving us a little peep into exactly what this looks like when it's working physiologically. Yes. And we'll start with arthritic feet, and talk us through what we're seeing on the screen, Cheryl.
Well, you're seeing the results of arthritis under digital thermal imaging, and it really shows you what the pain looks like. It's a visual way of showing you, and you can see how inflamed that particular pair of feet are. They would be in a lot of pain with that. And then within 3 to 5 minutes, the change by just applying the Be Relieved.
I can't imagine what the feet on the left are feeling emotionally. That is loss of mobility, isn't it, that I'm looking at there? It's so very painful.
It makes it incredibly hard during the day. It makes it hard when you've got your shoes on to do work. One of the things I would recommend, if you're putting Be Relieved or Be Sport on your feet, put it a bit further up and up your legs and up to your knees and behind your knees. You have your lymph glands there behind your knees. You will get a larger dose. The larger this surface area, the skin area that you cover, the larger the dose of the essential oils. And you don't need to put it on in a great amount because, you know, believe it or not, it will last quite a while. But you don't want to overdo it. You don't need to. Your skin will only absorb a certain amount. So by putting it up that way, you're going to get a much quicker and a much more beneficial effect.
Good tip. Now, how's your neck feeling at home? Have you been hunching over a computer perhaps? Or your posture's not so good? Or you've got, you know, your other half is a truckie? You are feeling it. That you can just feel down the back of the neck, down the back of the head. It's almost giving me a headache looking at that picture on the left, isn't it?
That's, I think, what that lady, from what I remember, all those years ago had. The headache, yeah, and which happens to so many people. Often people who get migraine or headaches don't realise it's also because a lot of those muscles are compromised as well. And by just putting it onto the temples or onto the face, it's not enough. You've really got to do the muscles on the shoulders and on the neck as well, because you don't know exactly how much of that area has inflammation.
This is the effect after 3 to 5 minutes of applying Be Relieved. Now, I think you've got nothing to lose. You've got everything to gain. In fact, the only thing you've got to lose, really, is that pain in that neck, perhaps, or that bowel that we're seeing here. Somebody here with IBS and the cramping.
Yes.
How do you, maybe you have that at home and you may have symptoms of that. And what do? You go and take that tablet and hope that the cramping goes down, but again, it's a synthetic.
Yeah. Even with a tummy ache, I mean, we've had so many stories in the thousands of testimonials and experiences that customers have had of even little children, toddlers, who get tummy aches. And they come up and they're pointing at everything, and they point at the oil, and then they point at their tummy. Now, they mightn't be able to express themselves in words, but they're able to communicate the fact that they know that that bottle helps them. And what better way to put a little bit on their tummy and on their lower back as well.
Little people, they just know, don't they? Little people and animals. So, and then finally, we're going to look at the back, because this is where Be Sport comes in. And you don't be put off by the name, please. Cheryl's got a quick anecdote on the name in a moment.
Yes.
But no, what we've got here is something that is that government agency, that's what it means, that may, all the good things here, may use in aromatherapy to relieve mild tissue edema, symptoms of soft tissue trauma, mild joint aches and pains, all of that. So if you're looking at that back on the left and thinking those white hot areas are where it's ouch for me, you know, that's causing me to have lack of quality of life. And after 3 to 5 minutes after application of the Be Sport, wow, what a difference. Yeah.
That's where we were lucky on A Current Affair, because we were able to prove it. We were able to show this is what's happened. And, you know, it was quite an incredible time, I must admit. And it was lovely to get that message across, because we were the first to use that thermal imaging and to do those results that actually proved that it would get into those areas, and that it would even affect the bowel, because I had so many people say, it won't, no, sorry, aromatherapy won't affect the bowel, it won't relax it, it won't do anything. And after we did the thermal image, we were able to show them that, yes, it gets in. It goes through the skin, it goes even further in, and it can affect the bowel, the back, all
This
sorts
is
of
incredible. You need to be on the phone really on 1-800-836-826 and try it for yourself, or go to aroma.com.au, free delivery, and you can pay in part payments. Now, if you're looking at this, do you see yourself here on any of those pictures? It could be that knee that's plaguing you, and you know, you're getting the swelling there. It could be all the way down the back. It could be the shoulder, everyday aches, muscle soreness, joint stiffness, all slowing you down and robbing you, literally thieving you of your quality of life. Now we're going to move on to B Sport, and which is the other one that's in the pack here. So you've got B Relieved and you've got B Sport, which has been listed as therapeutic with that government agency, and literally I've got it in tiny, tiny writing, and it's far too much for me to even be able to read out for you here. It's like pages and pages of what it's saying it's good for. For example, even digestive spasms, gastrointestinal pain, it says, muscle tension, weakness. It goes on. It's just mind-blowing when you read through the listing. Now, Cheryl, let's get the name out of the way, because I don't want people to be put off and thinking I've got to be a sports person or use it in recovery. This has got a very, very interesting name because you actually created it for...
I created it for Parramatta leagues, and it was used, and their I can't think of the person that actually does the massage and looks after them, but it was originally made for them, and I got a terrific testimonial. And yes, so therefore the name became B Sport, because everything in the range starts with BE, which is Balanced Essentials. So the name's B Sport, Be Relieved, Be Uplifted, Be Calm, etc.
Now, you've got 16 oils across the range that you're getting today that are the 16 oils between them, and 6 are used in both. But what you're going to find in the B Sport is that you're going to have things like the arnica, which has been traditionally used for bruising and swelling and inflammations and things like that. And I'm rubbing it on here because this is...
And it's a great way to get the body going. If you wake up in the morning, because it contains basil, which is a brain stimulant, you will find it will actually allow you to think a bit clearer and get you going. So
that's it, cognition,
that's where
brain fog.
Exactly. And that's where the name came in for sport, because I thought, well, people can use the pain relief before they go out, before they're going to the gym or they're exercising, and it prepares the muscles and helps with any existing swelling or inflammation or spasming. So you can go out and then, you know, do what you need to do during the day. So I often find a lot of my customers will put the B Sport on in the morning, and then they'll use the Be Relieved, which is your calming pain relief at night time. If they're really in a lot of pain, they'll use both. But they do tend to use the B Sport in the morning, because if you use a lot of B Sport at night, you might find that you're laying there and you're thinking too much. You're not going to relax as much, because it does stimulate the brain and also helps with all sorts of things with that stimulation, so you can remember better.
And circulation as well. If you've constantly got your cold feet and things like that. And I actually saw on the listing, they mentioned gout. I mean, it's such a huge gamut of...
It is. And for people too that go through and they find that they've got problems with peripheral circulation. And, you know, I've seen people that have lost toes. My uncle, in fact, lost toes because he wouldn't use anything. You don't normally listen to family members. And then eventually he tried the oils and went from there. And the physio that was looking after him actually said, well, if you had have been using that product and those oils, you wouldn't have lost your toes on the other feet.
So he really did have a lot to lose, didn't he?
And that's what's amazing, especially for people that even go skiing, because they can end up with problems there.
Yeah, exactly. So if any of these symptoms are resonating with you, then they may be relieved. Thousands and thousands, literally tens of thousands of Australians, can't be wrong, who have been buying this for, you know, the past 30 years.
Yes.
For me personally, my journey with Cheryl has been 15 years. Go to her website, have a look, because there are some amazing, there's Be Uplifted, which just puts you in an amazing, or puts me, should I say, in an amazing mood.
Yes.
But we're going to talk about the add-on now. So you can add on, it should be $79.50, and it is now $49.50. So you're getting $30 off of the Be Calm. And what I will say about the Be Calm is I was using it on my my Reggie. You're going to see that in a moment, but I've got another dog called Mildred, who's a Spoodle, and she gets a little bit leery at night. She's a big girl and she bosses her brother around, and I was tired of her just shredding around and getting all hyper at night, and I thought, how can I calm her down? So I was there with the Be Calm, just rubbing it into her ears like little massage. Yeah. She was out like a light. Now this is how I know it worked, and it wasn't just her swinging the lead. I went downstairs, Cheryl, I cracked open the fridge. Now, normally they'd be like rats up a drain pipe behind me when they hear that fridge being cracked. I went upstairs, they were flat out. I then put it in the Oodle Fanciers group on Facebook, and everybody was like, how can we get hold of this? And I think that a lot of them came to you. So that's the add-on, but do take my word for it.
Just to explain to people, Be Calm, if you were to take the calming oils out of Be Relieved and put it into a bottle, we look at Be Relieved that has 13 ingredients. Well, Be Calm has 7.
Yeah.
And if you were to put the calming oils in, that's how you end up with Be Calm.
Absolutely, it is a magical, and that's your add-on. And I've got a little story with my dog Reggie, I think, that I'd like to share with you before we leave. I've always known that I can use oils with animals. I up until I came to Australia 13 years ago, I always had horses. And one of the things I would do with the horses, if they were particularly skiddy, I used to have a box of like 26 oils, and I'd bring the oils out, and invariably the horse would choose the oil that it wanted. So I've known for, many, many years that this was very powerful with animals. But Reggie was a puppy, and he's a particular type of puppy. He's a moodle. And historically, I know from friends who have any type of oodle that they tend to get a little bit of separation anxiety, and they can be a little bit nervy. I think I've got one of the most chilled oodles in the world, but from a very early age, I would rub a little bit of Be Calm on his tummy, or, I'd just give him a little massage while I was watching TV into his fur, and he comes for it now, he looks for it. You only have to go and do your research to know that the olfactory system, the power of smell, is the most powerful sense that we have. When you smell something, it bypasses all of these neurons and synapses and all these processes in your brain, and it goes straight to trigger something in your brain. And that's proven. Whether that's a memory or a feeling or a sensation, it hits the spot. It doesn't have to be filtered or processed. Oh, look. There will always be skeptics, and everybody's entitled to, their beliefs. And I think in this world that is, as I said earlier, so frantic, and people are searching for answers, and people are starting to slow down, maybe we should go back to nature and think back a few thousand years and think they weren't so wrong at all. You go back to ancient times, and they were using plants as medicine and aromatherapy. In fact, the father of modern medicine himself, Hippocrates, said 5,000 years ago, the very plants that grow on our grave could be the plants that save us. So I think, although there are skeptics, there is becoming an awakening, there's becoming a shift in mindset, as perhaps people are realising that this fast-paced, instant gratification world is actually not working. They're both smelly vision. They're both very, very different, aren't they? You've got your Be Relieved, which is, it's analgesic, anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic, antimicrobial. I'm not sure what I'm picking up, but they're very, very different.
It's the difference in the essential oils that are in it. You'll find a lot of top notes. You'll find that you've got more of the concentrated citrus in this. So it's got a much more powerful smell. And one of the things to mention too is if you're confused about what to use and which one to use, sometimes go off your smell. The body will let you know, and have a smell of both And what you are drawn to is often what your body needs. You'll find it's like going to a smorgasbord and you might be needing minerals and nutrition and vitamins. Your body will help you gravitate to the food that you need.
It's like if you're pregnant and you're craving coal or something odd like that. Your body's
or
telling
oranges, which
that you need that mineral or something.
Exactly.
Now, you've got a few tips for us here about how to protect our furniture, because obviously it's oil and...
Well, I was going to say probably one of the easiest ways to do this is once you've got the bottle and you've taken it out of the container, just push them in here, and the bigger one, the larger lid, and then you've got a box that you can actually use, and you can put the oil in, because if you over apply and you've got some of the oil that you've spilt, or you don't want to get anything on any of your very good furniture or surfaces. So the easiest way to do it is to put it in there just like that, beside the bed, wherever you want to use it, and it's ready to go. So next time you want to use it, you can take it straight out and it's there.
And there's a little surprise when you get to the end of the bottle. I always get a bit sad when I get to the end of the bottle because I think, oh, it's finished. But tell us about the crystals.
Well, I think many people are aware of the power of crystals and the piezoelectric qualities of them, and even people of a very advanced age will remember crystal radio sets, and that's because you've got like an alternating current, and you've got a way of broadcasting with them. So they're quite incredible crystals, and they each have a slightly different action too. So you've got your rose quartz and your clear quartz, which is in B Sport. So Be Relieved has rose quartz, and then you've got clear quartz crystal in B Sport. And they do help I always say it helps to activate the product. You don't really need to mix. They are mixed extremely well in a lab that goes to a lot of trouble and actually looks after a lot of the other therapeutic products as well. So you'll find at the very end a crystal will come out, and it's a little bead, and it has a hole drilled through it. So if you wanted to, you can actually use it and make either a necklace or a bracelet with it.
Or earrings.
So you can get to keep it. But
that's a lovely touch. Thank you so much.
It personalises it. It helps really, the way I feel, and I can't prove this in any way, but I tend to feel that that crystal helps to personalise it more for you. It helps to activate those extra ingredients in the oils.
It's all vibrational, isn't it?
And it's all vibrational.
When we look at it. So you have got your amazing offer of the B Sport and the Be Relieved. Don't be put off by the name of B Sport. Cheryl, what are we feeling now? If we're sat at home and thinking, I don't know, do I need this pack? What do you think? What would this help with? What am I feeling that I want to pick up the phone?
Oh, it's for really anything, even if you're not in pain. You've got something there that really is like a first aid in the bottle. You can use it for so many different things. You can have it there and use it if you have a minor burn, if you have a cut or a scratch.
And it's actually been listed that as well on the thing, hasn't it? Yeah,
it's on the listing as well. So for any time that you might go over on your legs, if you fall over, it would be the one thing I'd go for, and I'd put it on as quickly as you can. The quicker you use it, the less inflammation you'll get. And I know we've even had people on the way to hospital with, especially a child, that had a complex and compound fracture. And they were putting it on the whole way in the car to the hospital. So much so that when they got there, the nurse did not believe that it could be such a bad fracture. And
that's incredible.
And she really didn't want to take them in to have it x-rayed at first. And because the child wasn't in as much pain as she expected, it also made it harder. But in the end, they convinced her. And she went in and of course they had the x-ray done, and they couldn't believe the amount of damage that had been done.
Wow.
But because of the products, they were helping with the inflammation and the pain, and that made the world of difference to her. And I think when you've got children, you want to do anything to alleviate their pain, even people are using it on their animals and their horses and their dogs and their cats, all sorts of things. So
yeah, well, I've actually forgot to print off yet another testimonial for you for somebody who was using it, Be Relieved on their I think it was their dog that you sent me through, and literally thousands, tens of thousands of us can't be wrong. You've got that 30-day money-back guarantee. You've got the free shipping, well, postage and handling. Why don't you try it out? 1-800-836-826. Now, if you go to aroma.com.au, that's Cheryl's website, and you feel tempted, pick up the Be Calm as well for $49.50. You can read more about it on there. And I'm also going to say you are absolutely going to want the Be Uplifted too. If you've been a bit down in the dumps, it just gives you a smile and it just raises that vibration. I have to say thank you from my heart, from all of us here at UTV, for bringing us yet another wonderful offer. Thank you, Cheryl. Take care.
Thank you very much.